Lieutenant Commander Amara Osei stood at 5 feet 4 inches. On paper, she was unimposing. In a room filled with species that measured strength in height, mass, and raw physical dominance, she could have been overlooked entirely. That was exactly what happened the moment she stepped into the Garvian recruitment facility. The processing hall itself was built for scale. The ceilings were high enough to accommodate beings twice her height, and the floors were reinforced to support weights far beyond human limits. Every station, every console, every doorway seemed oversized from her perspective, designed not for comfort but for diversity across species. At the center of the hall stood the Garvian recruitment officer. He towered above her at 11 feet tall. His elongated limbs were folded behind his back, his posture rigid with authority. Smooth, armored plating covered his frame, and subtle shifts in his stance suggested strength even at rest. Floating beside him was a compact assessment drone, its sensors quietly active, its lens fixed on Amara. The drone emitted a soft chime as its third scan completed. A monotone voice followed immediately. Height: suboptimal. Reach: suboptimal. Bone density: classified as fragile by coalition combat standards. Candidate recommended for non-combat administrative role. The words echoed slightly in the hall, as if reinforcing their own conclusion. The Garvian officer did not speak at first. Instead, he observed Amara with measured detachment, as though confirming what the system had already determined. Amara stood still. She had heard the report clearly. She did not react to it. Instead, she reached forward, picked up the physical evaluation tablet resting on the counter, and placed it back down, face down, with deliberate calm. Her movements were controlled, unhurried. Final. Run the performance assessment, she said. Her voice was steady, carrying no hint of frustration or challenge. It was not a request. It was procedure. The Garvian officer tilted his head slightly, the motion slow and deliberate. His translator processed the tone, adjusting for nuance. Physical parameters already indicate. Coalition Regulation 12 Delta states every candidate is entitled to complete performance evaluation before classification. She interrupted him smoothly, her tone unchanged. I'll wait. Silence followed. The officer paused. Not out of hesitation alone, but recognition. The regulation she cited was precise, enforced, binding. After a brief moment, he signaled the drone. The system acknowledged the command. A door at the far end of the hall opened with a controlled mechanical hiss, revealing the assessment course beyond. The course was not designed for her. It never had been. It was constructed for species averaging 8 to 10 feet in height, with proportional stride lengths, mass distribution, and reaction thresholds that matched Garvian physiology and their allied combat species. Obstacles were spaced for longer limbs. Barriers were elevated. Targets were placed at heights that assumed reach advantages she did not possess. Every element of the course favored larger bodies. Amara stepped forward. No adjustment was made to accommodate her. No exception was granted. The starting signal activated. She moved. Her pace was immediate but measured. She did not rush blindly into the course. Instead, she observed each segment as she entered it, adjusting her movements in real time. Where others would rely on stride length, she compensated with timing. Where reach was limited, she compensated with positioning. She did not fight the design of the course. She worked with it. The first obstacle required scaling a vertical barrier nearly twice her height. A larger species might have stepped over it or pulled themselves up with brute force. Amara approached it differently. She assessed the surface, identified grip points, and used controlled bursts of movement to ascend efficiently. Her center of gravity remained stable as she transitioned upward, minimizing wasted motion. Each action flowed into the next without hesitation. The drone tracked her continuously. Her vitals remained steady. Her movements remained precise. Within the course, simulated environmental pressures activated distractions, time challenges, dynamic obstacles designed to disrupt rhythm and force adaptation. For most candidates, these elements introduced delay, confusion, or error. For Amara, they became variables. She adjusted her path. She reevaluated angles. She recalculated momentum mid-motion. For minutes passed, then 12 seconds more. As she crossed the final threshold, the system registered completion. The course timer stopped. The previous record, held by a Garvian Special Forces veteran known for exceptional physical performance, had been 4 minutes and 41 seconds. Amara's time, 4 minutes and 12 seconds. The difference was not large in absolute terms. But in a course calibrated against biological advantage, it was significant. The recruitment officer stood completely still. His gaze remained fixed on the timer display. Then it shifted slowly to Amara. She stood at the finish line, composed. Her breathing was controlled, her posture relaxed. There was no visible strain, no sign of exhaustion. "How?" he said. The translator struggled to convey the depth of his confusion, flattening the question into something simpler than intended, but the meaning remained clear. Amara adjusted the cuff of her uniform jacket slightly. "Leverage, momentum, geometry." She spoke as though explaining something routine. "When you're small, everything becomes a problem of angles." She paused briefly, then added, almost as an afterthought, "Also, I've been running that exact course design in simulation for 3 months. The officer's head tilted again. "You knew our course layout? I researched your evaluation criteria, your obstacle specifications, and the physics of your preferred combat environment." Her tone remained neutral, factual. She stepped forward and retrieved her datapad from the counter. "Then I trained specifically to exceed your benchmarks." There was no pride in her voice, no boastfulness, only clarity. The Garvian officer looked at the datapad in her hand, then at the timer, then back at her. The data was undeniable. His assessment shifted. Not corrected, reframed. After a moment, he spoke again. His voice carried a different tone now, less evaluative, more formal. "Welcome to the Coalition Special Operations Corps, Lieutenant Commander Osei." She accepted the datapad calmly. "Thank you." She tucked it under her arm, already turning slightly as though preparing to leave. "I've already reviewed the placement exam," she added. "I'm ready when you are." The Garvian officer remained in place as she exited the course area, his gaze lingering on her path. Behind him, the drone completed its final log entry and powered down its evaluation cycle. In a facility built to measure strength by size, Amara Osei had demonstrated something else entirely. That limitation, properly understood, could become strategy. And strategy, executed precisely, could overcome almost anything. Please follow my channel for more videos. One click from you can change my life.